Hey guys, so I've been just went on a little walk and because I was just thinking about everything that happened today. So it's January, hold on, I'm pretty sure it's the 28th or the 29th. It's Saturday going into Sunday. It's pretty late. I'm pretty sure it's Sunday now, so Sunday morning. And I was just up a lot thinking, because now if you've seen the earlier video, you knew about there's the girl, I'm calling her Lucy. That's not her actual name, but I'm calling her Lucy. And I was also at this, I went to this bar, and the barmaid was just kind of being a C word. And I was just like, okay, I don't want to deal with you right now. So I just left because I didn't want to deal with her. And she was just being like, and I was just like having all these negative thoughts about women. Like, and I was going back and I was like, no, that's like bigoted, crazy, sexist, misogynistic crap. And I'm not going to think that anymore, right? But then it was like all these triggers and all these old wounds were pouring out of me. And it's like, guys, how do you stay healthy when people of a certain demographic are demonstrating that behavior but not feed into it? Because you have to recognize how people treat you. I mean, obviously it's a reflection of who they are, like first and foremost. But those were individuals. You can't think of them as all women. Because for those two girls, there's like Lucy and that stupid barmaid, I talked to so many amazing women today. I talked to so many, amazing females, right? Who were just incredible people. And I was like, man, these are incredible human beings. And I'm so glad I talked with them, right? And I can't let these two people with their, wounds or their mental health or whatever the F is going on with them affect me. But at the same time, I've been really, really hurt by that. I've been really, really hurt. So I'm like, well, how can I stay open-hearted, stay trusting, stay loving, but at the same time protect myself? Because I have a pure heart. Like, I really believe that. I have a pure heart, right? And I'm trying to clean up my mind, and I want to make sure I keep straight. So here's how I figured it out. And this is how you stay loving in an unloving world, guys. And I realized the answer came in The Alchemist. So if you've read the book The Alchemist, you'll remember that Santiago, the main character, he's heading to Egypt, and he's going on this caravan to Egypt after being in, I can't remember the town, but he learned Arabic, and he's been in that town for a year working at the crystal shop, and he's heading off to the pyramids, and he's about to jump into the caravan. While going on the caravan, he meets an Englishman. And the Englishman is also looking for the alchemist because he's trying to figure out how to make the philosopher's stone. Now, the Englishman has a very interesting saying, because Santiago notices the Englishman has a pistol, a gun, and it's never been used, and it was just this weapon. And so Santiago's like, hey, why do you have that gun? And then the Englishman said, it helps me trust people. I have it so I can trust people. I remember when I first read that, I was like, hey, what does he mean by that? And then I always thought about the idea when I had daughters, is I always wanted my daughters to grow up taking martial arts. And like, if I have like girls and I raise them, I want my girls to be capable of intense violence. And some people will be like, what do you mean? Like, you want girls to be soft and fluffy? And it's like, yes, I want my girls to be compassionate. I want them to be kind. And I'd be like, and able to do that, they have to be capable of exceptional violence. And when I mean exceptional violence, I mean, if someone were to hurt one of my daughters, I want her having the ability to be able to kill a man instantly. So like, she's gonna have a knife, she's gonna have a weapon, she's gonna be able to kill that person if they try to harm her. And I want her capable of that exceptional violence so that she doesn't have to fear. And I realize that's the point, is I don't want my girls to walk around being assassins and hurting people, but I want them to not have to be fearful. Because when you're fearful, you can't be filled with love. And fear and love can't coexist in the same space. Do you understand? So like, if you're fearful and you're constantly going around looking over your shoulder and scared, you can't be loving towards anyone. If you watch my video the other day, I talk about this girl, Elle, that I met at the movie theater, and how even though we had this talk and conversation, she wouldn't give me a ride because she was scared. And she was just being scared, not being present. And I don't blame her, but it's like, if she was capable of exceptional violence, where if I was able or tried to hurt her, if she knew she could kill me instantly, she would have had the room to be kind, because she would know that there's no way this person can hurt me. And that's why a lot of men don't walk around feeling that way. And that's why I've noticed exceptionally, men typically are more compassionate. Like if you had to roll a dice and say who's going to help, more apt to help you, especially as a man, I would say I think in this country men are kinder and more compassionate. They just are, because they're not scared all the time. And it's not because women inherently are not compassionate, but when you're constantly like, the thing is, you got to understand, this is tough being a woman. Most women, especially imagine you're 90 pounds, you're 5'2", and 70% of the people, so that's some of the bigger women, and like all the men are bigger than you. So if there was a fight or some violence, there would be something happen. And I feel bad because I made a joke to Lucy, and I was thinking about it because Lucy's taking boxing, right? And I made a joke. I was like, I could totally kick your ass. And it was a joke for me. But I realized for her, that might have triggered something really, really scary for her. And for me, it was just a joke. I didn't even think about it, right? But for her, she's taking boxing. She's trying to defend herself. She wants to get tough. And I'm just being this dude, completely ignorant, not thinking, right? She might have been like, oh my God, this person could hurt me. And that's a scary feeling. And I realized when you're filled with that fear, it's very hard to be loving. It's very hard to be open. It's very hard to be like healthy. And I realized, like, if we are in a culture where women are always fearful of themselves, of course they're not going to be kind. They're not going to be able to share their gifts or share love because they're just terrified. They're terrified of everything around them, right? And so I thought, okay, first off, right, I feel bad. So Lucy, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry if that joke triggered something in you. It was just a joke. I'm sorry. It was just being funny, and I felt like it was okay for that, but if that triggered something in you, I'm sorry. But something that, this has to be said, right? This is why we need to be honest, we need to be open, and we need to start speaking our minds. And I think like it's important for us all metaphorically to carry a gun, right? I think, and I'm not saying like everybody, I'm not saying actually carry guns, right? Like maybe, right? But metaphorically, at the very least, we need to know that we have the ability at a moment's notice to be able to defend ourselves, because we know, okay, if some person tries to hurt me, I can like eliminate them. And so because of that, I don't have to be fearful of them. And because I'm not fearful of them, that means I can be present and I can be kind and I can be loving. So that's the whole lesson there. So I thought, how can I then bring that to bear, right? Because I want to be able to do that and still talk to these women or whatever, but like I'm fearful because I've been in situations where like I was married before, and because my ex-wife lied, and once again, I don't blame her for any of this, right? Because she was just fearful and really messed up, so I don't really blame her at all for this, right? But she lied and it really hurt me, and I still have like those wounds, and I react to them, and without meaning to, I'll put that onto all these other women who haven't done anything wrong. Or even when they do something wrong, I might have a disproportionate feeling or reaction because of something small they did and make it something bigger. When in the reality, they're just being a C word in the moment, like that barmaid, or like Lucy, who I don't know what's going on, but she might actually have some stuff going on, and like she didn't do anything really wrong, but she's tender, right? So I'm having these triggers, we're working these triggers, so what's the solution? And this is what I figured out the solution was. So for me, I basically decided like my metaphorical gun, because I'd go back all the time to like when I was married, and I got married young because like I was like Mormon and I felt like I needed to, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong, it's just what happened. But going back, first off, I wouldn't have married her, but like one thing I realized would have really helped is I remember I had recorded a part of the fight, and I was able to show that in civil court, and this case got dismissed because everybody could see that she was clearly instigating it, and like I wasn't instigating the violence. But like it hurt me in court and a lot of this other stuff because I wasn't able to prove that, and I realized she had taken my phone away so I couldn't record it, right? And that was something like my ex-wife did. So I realized like from now on, and it's sad, but I really think from now on, just while I'm doing this journey through the United States, really trying to like love people, I think I need to have a record, like I have my phone or whatever, but I think every single time I like probably talk to a human female, I probably need to record myself. And it's sad, I don't know what you guys think, I want to get some feedback, but I'm legitimately considering it like anytime like I go on a date, like if it's in public, I probably won't be as anal about it, but especially if I'm alone or like especially if there's not another man in earshot or like in eyesight, like I have to record, because if a girl says anything like, oh, he said this or I felt this way, and like, because she can feel a certain way, but you got to recognize you're responsible for your feelings. That has nothing to do with anybody else. So if someone's like, but the thing is, a lot of people will be like, well, she felt this way, so we have to bend the world to her. But the thing is, if I'm above board, and I know I am, I have a pure heart. So if I'm above board and everything's recorded, I don't, like, at least for my peace of mind, I know that, okay, if anything bad were to happen, this is recorded. And so because it's recorded, I don't have to be worried that she's going to say or do something or try to hurt me. Because even if she does, because that's how, like, guys will use physical, like men, physical, like human males will use like physical violence to get with their way when they're unhealthy. But unhealthy with like females, right? They weaponize their social connections, right? They weaponize their ability to manipulate, and they use, and like lying is their main tool. Right? Lying, and I've just seen that. Like, the lie is the main tool of, like, when you're small and physically weak, your deception is how you get through, right? And that's how a lot of them do it. The deceptive ones, not all females. I wouldn't say, like, there's a lot of healthy, great, amazing females, women, like, I just want to put that out there. So just like if someone's unhealthy and is going to try to hurt you and they're not physically able to do it, they'll more often not will lie. And the biggest way to kill a lie is with transparency. And I realize if there's an objective third witness available, like a recording, an electronic device that's always present on me, and it's always recording the audio, then I just have to move in a certain way. And if I move in that way, and obviously, like, as things deepen, just be transparent, being like, hey, like, you should know, by the way, I always have this recorded. Like, I'm never alone with a woman unless it's recorded. And just let women know that's like, listen, like, that. It's just like if a woman was gonna hang out with me, she'd be like, okay, but you should know, like, I have a gun, and if you do anything, I'm gonna blow your head off. Now, if I'm gonna do something, I might be worried. But if I'm not gonna do something, I'll be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not gonna hurt you, so just don't kill me, don't murder me, right? And the reality is, a recording can't be weaponized that way, right? So it's just like having a recording, and I might even go as far to, like, when I tell a woman, just like, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna record, and you're more than welcome to record too, right? And if they're like, oh, why are you doing that? And then it's a conversation starter. Just be like, listen, yeah, because I've had these like crazy experiences, and I'm just here trying to be safe because I want to be open, I want to be loving, but at the same time, I don't want to put myself or end up talking to the wrong person who's crazy or has unhealthy feelings. Because like with Lucy, I have no idea what's going on there, and she's acting weird, and she goes, I don't think she's gonna lie and stuff, but if like she goes and spread all these lies or whatever, then I can't go back. And like I was just thinking about, like I was at a Panera cafe, and I was thinking about asking this girl out, and the manager's like, oh no, you can't do that. And I was like, well, if I can't ask a girl out, like in a public place, like when am I supposed to meet anybody? And like that's the fuckery of our culture, guys. Like that's how fucked up it is. It's like literally, unless you go on a date app now, nobody can talk to anybody anywhere, because it's like. And like that's why I was at this bar and I was talking to some people and being like, oh hey, could you help me like pay for it? And you know, the C-word bartender is like, oh yeah, don't bother the customers. I'm like, okay, I literally am trying to figure out a way to pay you. I have the money, but I don't have a physical card. So if I cannot ask for help, I can't do anything. And it's like everyone's just stuck in this world where nobody is supposed to talk or bother anybody, and everybody's supposed to stay in their box. And it's like, and then we wonder why our society's falling apart. We wonder why people can't communicate. We wonder why people don't listen to each other. We wonder why there's civil discourse. And we wonder why everything's falling apart, why families don't get along, why there's mental health, because nobody talks to each other, and there's all these social faux pas about people reaching out and talking. And it's like, that, guys, this is why I'm traveling America. This is why I'm trying to show you. Guys, if you live in other countries, they would look at this and be like, that is insane. If you move to Europe, they would be like, this is insane. Oni has to walk around and do that. If I went to like parts of Asia, they would be like, that is insane that you have to do that. But it's like, that's America, guys. That's what is so fucked up about this country. Like, that's become the social norm, and we're all living in it and without knowing it. So we get in our little boxes and we do our little things and we stay in little boxes, and only the exceptional people who don't give a fuck like me can succeed. But it's difficult and it's painful, right? And a lot of people aren't going to go through that, and that's why so many people are going to suffer, and I don't want people to suffer like that. So that's why I'm doing this, because I don't want people to go through that, and I want to point out, guys, this is not healthy. This is fuckery. This is not okay. And we need to stop accepting it and thinking that it is, because it's not. It's not okay. This is all crazy stuff. So anyway, And I mean, you don't want a surveillance state. We don't, not 1984, but that's what's going to happen. And that's what happens when enough crazy people and unreliable narrators are running around, and that becomes the status quo. You need a surveillance state. And that's what's going to happen, guys. This is how 1984 happens. This is how they break us down and they do that. This is how it happens. They wrote books about this fucking 70 years ago because this is crazy shit. And I feel bad for these teenagers and these kids growing up in it, because they're like, guys, this has been predicted and you're getting the flack of it. And it's up to people like me who know better to do something about it, right? And you know, like, that's why I'm probably, like, after this, I'm not going to raise my kids in the US, because, like, it's fucked up. It really is. But like, I'm still doing my journey or whatever. Anyway, so I basically decided I'm going to record everything from now on, carry my gun, because my gun will enable me to be kind. And I think if I do that, that'll enable me to go out and still do that. Give me your thoughts, feedback on it. I'd be interested. It's just that I want everybody else to feel safe. Just like a girl would carry mace or a knife or a weapon on her, and we'd have to understand, yeah, because there's predators. So guys, honestly, record yourselves, because there's predators, right? Yeah, and that's my thoughts. That's how you stay loving in an unloving world. Stay happy, stay healthy.